are you? Who are you? Consider for a moment that the you that you are is not a body, not a brain, not a mind. You're not a thing. You're whole, you're unified, complete. You're not a part of something. You're an individual, which means the undivided one. That's what Berner means when he says you, the undivided one. Not the body, not the mind, not the brain, you. Again, the mind is all the impressions and their combinations that you, as an individual, make from a fixed attitude. And we'll keep unpacking this. So, what are impressions in the mind and where do they come from? Where do they originate from? They originate from the sense faculties, from the eyes and the sense of seeing. They come from the sense of touch, from the hands and the skin of the body, and from the tongue and the sense of taste, from the ears and the sense of hearing. And they even come from thinking upon the thoughts that are already in the mind. All of your senses are where the impressions originate from. When someone says or does something, and you only accept or allow a part of that experience in, and it could be what I'm speaking about. Well, that is, you're resisting something. You're stopping or inhibiting the full experience of life in that moment. The part that you resist becomes suspended in the mind. What the hell is that? Oh, just my mind. Here's an example. You're sitting in the front yard and you're reading the newspaper, or more likely you're scrolling through the telephone, your iPhone. And your 3-year-old child who's out front with you is playing with a ball. You're scrolling, not watching at the moment, and the ball rolls into the street between 2 parked cars. And that little girl of yours runs out to get the ball that's rolling between the 2 parked cars, and unbeknownst to her, she's just a 3-year-old, a big truck is coming by. At that moment, you look up and see your child running out into the street between those 2 parked cars right in front of the truck. Kaboom! It's too late for you to do anything. You scream, "No!" That part of the experience that you could not accept or tolerate or let in, that part of the experience gets suspended in what is called the mind. The mind is made up of those suspended experiences that are incomplete communications. An impression in the mind is all or part of some aspect of an original experience that you resisted. The suspended or incomplete communications, they could be a result of some major or minor trauma, or something that you just didn't understand that came your way in life. It could be that someone said or did something that you found offensive or hurtful, or you just didn't understand why they said that or that happened. So you just sucked it up with resentment and it left a bad taste in your mouth, as the saying goes. Or it left you incomplete and wondering about the misunderstanding or the non-understanding that took place.
See, you're interrupting me again.
I'm always interrupting you. I'm always doing something wrong, and I get really...
I cannot express myself properly, and I don't get
Okay, give me a chance to talk. Give me a chance to talk.
What, go on then?
You always undermine me. You try to sabotage everything I do.
Rubbish, bull.
So, the part of the original experience, whatever it might be, whether it's deep and traumatic or mildly confusing, that part that you resisted, the part you resisted or that you didn't understand, is what becomes suspended in the mind. It's what you carry around with you in your conscious mind or in your subconscious mind. These impressions in the mind, they can be conscious. That is, you're aware of the thought or the feeling or the sensation, and you can easily access it and deal with it, with that impression. You can work on it. It's obvious, or at least it's in consciousness. But if it's in the subconscious, you can't easily access it. It's more difficult to deal with. All of the impressions, whether they're hidden or not, they influence you. They influence your judgments, the decisions you make, and the actions that you take in life. As Berner said, and I quote, "There are many, many impressions and many, many combinations that make up the mind. And these impressions go far deeper than you may realize." These impressions are the stuff of which attitudes are made or constructed. Your personality and the way that you look at the world. It becomes your way of being in the world and your way of interacting with the world.
Connor, Ned!
There's nothing inherently wrong with an attitude or a state of being, but when it becomes stuck or fixed in the mind, you severely limit your flexibility to respond and relate in the world. You don't see reality as it actually is. Instead, you filter it through your fixed disposition, and this causes conflict, fusions, and misunderstandings between you and others. When an attitude becomes fixed in the mind, you become tied to it. You can't let go of it. You can't get rid of it. You can't get out of it. You become identified with that way of being. You're stuck. And since there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of impressions that come your way every day, you filter those impressions and you only let into conscious awareness those that support or align with that fixed attitude that you're holding on to. The other impressions that you resist, they get buried in the subconscious.